We tend to spend a lot of money taking things that are very basic and making them interesting, which is why the high school girl glitter market has never been stronger. But today we're going to take your minor chords and for free make them more interesting, and it's going to sound something like this. So these are just going to be little things that we can do on any minor chord to make your minor chords less boring. All right. So we're going to do them in open position if you never mess around with bar chords, and then we're going to do them in bar chord position if you're an OG. Right. So we'll start with everybody's favorite minor chord, A minor. Right. Now it's really helpful to know the notes that are in an A minor chord: an A, a C, and an E. If you don't know that, that's fine. You'll get there eventually because we're really just going to be working more with shapes than anything. So the way we're going to make this A minor chord is by adding notes that are already in the chord, albeit in different places than you're actually playing, right? So when I said this A minor chord is an A, a C, and an E, the A is the open string and the A string. 2 on the D string is E. 2 on the G string is another A. 1 on the B string is C, and open E, right? Now, we can actually start to take some of these other notes to play along with the chord. So it's eventually going to sound like this. Okay? Now, I'm actually adding a couple notes from the A minor scale to get this. Basically, let's just go through the frets first. What we're going to do is we're going to go open on the A string, 3 on the A string, open on the D string, 2 on the D string, open on the G string. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can think of this as like a 5-note scale, perhaps the pentatonic scale, if you will. We're just going to go forward and backwards. Okay, now I can play any of those notes in any order next to this A minor chord. And we can do this the same way on the E minor chord, right? This is kind of like an A minor to E minor progression. E minor. I did the exact same pattern. The low E string, there's a root note, E, open 3, down a string, open 2, open on the next string. Really slow. Then backwards. I can do them ascending and descending like that. I can mix them around. So this is one idea of just how you can take a very simple scale and mix them into your minor chord playing, okay? Now, that's all well and good, but what if you kind of get a minor chord that isn't A minor or E minor, and you know for a fact that the open strings won't help you? That's where it becomes really cool to learn maybe some kind of arpeggio runs, playing that chord one note at a time. So, we're gonna stick with the example of A minor, but we're gonna use a bar chord to do it, okay? So the A minor bar chord is just barring the 5th fret, and then getting the 7th fret on the A and the D strings, okay? If maybe you're playing acoustic guitar, you're just starting out, and that's too hard to play for you, don't worry about it because you can still incorporate the notes we're going to use into an open chord if you want. But basically, we're going to play those same notes, all right? We're going to start with an A, the root note. We're going to slide into it with your ring finger, okay? Instead of going straight up pentatonic shape-wise, we're going to take this root note, grab its minor 3rd, the C right there, the 5th fret on the A string, and then slide and end up on the 5th fret on the D string. So it's kind of a different way to get the same notes. A, C, D, E, G. The same thing is in a different position. And the reason this is helpful, because if you ever run across a chord like a B minor, you can play here or here, you can use that same shape where you slide, go down a string, back 2 frets, hit up 2 frets, slide, down a string, back 2 frets. The cool thing about this shape is you only use 2 fingers, and you can repeat it in different spots. Here's the A, here's the B. You can do it anywhere, as long as you know where the root note is. You can even do a down string. You can do a D, E, Find a root note and then apply that shape where you're just sliding into it, going a minor third, which usually lines up pretty well for most people's ring finger and index finger, maybe your pinky, whatever. Everybody's hands are different. But that interval right there is a really popular interval in all sorts of music. A minor third into really what's essentially another minor third, but it's almost like they're stacked on top of each other. So like I said, we could do this in an open position too. A minor chord, A minor chord, bar chord, D minor. Anywhere there's a minor chord present, you can always play those notes in any kind of way. Now this is just a straight up ascending and descending way to do it, which I think is maybe a good way to start until you really get kind of the idea of where those notes are and how the muscle memory of your hands can go pretty quickly to add that slide. That's why I'm a big fan of playing them not in open position, because when you're doing open position, the open string is responsible for all the tone. The nice thing about sliding into this with your actual fingers and holding down the notes and not using open strings is, number one, it makes it a movable shape, like we talked about, where you can just find any root note. And two, you control the tone of every single note. I can slide into it, I can add vibrato, a lot of things you can do. When you're reliant on the open strings, an open string is an open string. There's not a lot you can do with it, right? So that's why I'm a big fan of learning shapes. And then adding just really this one, it's almost like a lick, I guess you want to call that you can add to absolutely any minor chord. And it doesn't have to be in order like that. Again, I'd recommend, until you really get a grasp on it, doing it in order, then maybe you can mix it up, because it's really just a short scale, this pentatonic scale that we're kind of using. But we do it in a lot of different ways. Again, A minor. And anything, I'm just kind of jumping around. I don't have to start on the one. I can only use two notes if I want to. You can even start combining some of those notes together. Like the last thing I did there, I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 notes. I took the first note and the fifth note, started playing them together. I could combine maybe the first, that minor third, and the fifth note to kind of create like a minor 7 chord. All these different things are just ways that you can take regular minor chords and make them a little less boring, because you can only just do A minor to E minor to D minor so many times before losing your mind. You might as well kind of start using some of this valuable fretboard real estate and kind of just exploring on how to do it. And the last thing I want to talk about is we're going to take this run and then go 1 octave higher. Okay, this is something you can do. You can add to any of these shapes. But basically, we have this one that you've already mastered by watching the video for this long already. There's the first one. The octave of this note right here, the A. The next A is going to be the 7th fret on the D string. Okay, so there's our run. We end there. We can start it again right here. Okay, the exact same thing. The next pitch, the next octave higher. Now it's almost the exact same shape, where we just go down a string, down 2 frets, back there, down a string, down 2 frets. So again, if this is our new tonic right here, slide, down a string, back 2 frets, same thing. The only time it changes is the last one. Instead of ending here, we're compensating for the B string and ending 1 note higher than we did in the first run, okay? So altogether it would be So that's kind of an extended arpeggio through the scale. Really cool thing to practice forward and backward. Again, just start kind of incorporating these, take some chances in the middle of these progressions, and I think you'll find that your playing has become less boring and also more interesting. So if you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website. I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.